we have to embrace the ebb and the flow. What are we going to teach? What are we going to teach these entrepreneurs if we've never closed a store? What are we going to teach these entrepreneurs about resilience if we've never faced friction? What are we going to teach these entrepreneurs about starting something new if we want to be comfortable where we are? So I believe in teaching what you've done. I only teach what I've ever done. I don't teach what I don't know.
And welcome to Business Done Right. I am your host, Kefilwe, or as you all know me, Coach Kefilwe. And today's guest is someone who's truly special. You know, somebody whom I'm always stalking on social media. Someone when I'm delivering a coaching plan or program, I'm doing an entrepreneurship course, I'll always sneak in her name here and there. This is someone who teaches us how to turn passion into profit. She's a businesswoman, an author, a TEDx speaker, and South Africa's #1 monetization coach. Right? From starting a clothing business with her husband in their bedroom, in their spare bedroom, to scaling it into 7 retail stores and a factory, and now mentoring hundreds of African entrepreneurs. Please welcome Hetty, the entrepreneur.
I love that.
So Hetty, when we were talking, when I told you how old I am, you laughed a little bit. Because you were like,
girl, you still got breast milk just dangling there by your lips.
Right?
28.
28.
You are a baby.
Right? Because I was telling you about how I started my business when I was still in university. I was still 18 years old when the idea of my academy, Kefilwe Academy, came about. And I didn't plan to say this is the academy and this is what it's going to do. I just thought, I've got so many of my peers that are not going to come to university like I had the privilege to.
Yes.
And I said, how can I then go back to my hometown and teach the little that I get at university and take it back to them, mentor them to say, you can also work on your grades and get funded and eventually maybe come to university and so forth. And then it sort of like built up to the academy that it has become. And I was telling you, I'm trying to develop an African business school.
Yes.
And I was telling you the dilemma that I'm in now to say, is the vision changing? Is what I'm doing needed while there are so many free entrepreneurship courses and programs? And then you're like, how old are you? So tell me, why are you laughing when I say that with the dilemma that I'm going?
You know, I think we are living in a time that is so high pressure that a 28-year-old, beautiful, intelligent woman such as yourself thinks they don't have time or thinks they're running out of time. You have got so much time. Look, I'm 40 and I've come to realize that time is a man-made construct. Time is a man-made construct. And if we allow ourselves to free ourselves of the bondage of timelines that other people enforce upon ourselves, our lives are going to become so much easier because it allows us to be able to live and surrender into the moment. Often at times, a person will say, I'm 28, I'm not yet a manager. I'm 28, my business is not yet making a turnover of X amount. We are living so far into the future that we are not learning the lessons of today, of this particular moment. And not only just learning the lessons of this moment, enjoying this moment, breathing in this moment, you know? And so for me, time is such an interesting conversation, Kefilwe, because it's something I myself have been grappling with and unpacking for myself. What does it look like? Because as I too was turning 40, I reached an existential crisis. Hey, Bo, I'm turning 40. What have I done with my time? What do I have to show for all of these 40 years? There's certain things which I can proudly tick off. And then there were other things where I was found wanting and lacking. And, you know, I recently put on social media and shared my fertility journey. And as I was nearing the age of 40, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm entering into my 40th year. And never in a million years did I think that I would be turning 40 without a child. Never in a million years. And I realized that I was also linking the age and the timeline to a man-made construct. Now that I have my son and I have experienced what it is to literally witness a miracle in my life, my perspective of time has completely changed. And if I knew then what I know now, even the way that I would pray for the things that I want would be completely different. I would no longer ask for what I want on my timeline. I would now ask for what I want on God's timeline. Because it's so interesting that we trust God with our every single need, but we don't trust him on his time.
Sure.
We say he's all-knowing, all-seeing, and yet we don't trust him with his very own creation. We don't trust the manufacturer of the product. So it is quite an interesting thing. So we have time to achieve all of the things that are destined for us. Ours is to live in the moment. And so that we can learn the lessons for the season, so that when the next season comes, we don't have remnants of those lessons leaking over, because they will chase you.
Because it's what they say, what you don't fix will repeat.
It will continuously repeat itself, but this time it will be on an astronomical scale. So if you haven't learned how to let go and delegate here, you're going to move to the next level, and you still haven't learned how to let go and delegate, but now with more important matters where the consequences are so much bigger. So it is far better to be present in the moment, learn the lessons of the season, humble yourself to enjoy where you are so that you can embrace the next season fully.
And I loved when I was telling you that, okay, I'm trying to build an African business school. And you said, Kefilwe, you need to go through the things that you're going through now building this business, because then what are you going to teach these entrepreneurs that are coming into your business?
Absolutely. We have to embrace the ebb and the flow. We have to embrace the ebb and the flow. What are we going to teach? What are we going to teach these entrepreneurs if we've never closed a store? What are we going to teach these entrepreneurs about resilience if we've never faced friction? Sure. What are we going to teach these entrepreneurs about starting something new if we want to be comfortable where we are? So I believe in teaching what you've done. I only teach what I've ever done. I don't teach what I don't know.
Sure.
If I don't know it, I refer them to other coaches. I probably am the person who refers to the most coaches in South Africa. I promise you. Because I believe in referring people to people that have experienced the thing that they are going through. So how are we going to teach what we haven't experienced?
Sure.
I can teach you about the grief of closing a business because I've done it. I can teach you about how to hire staff, fire staff, put in company culture because I've done it. I can teach you about building a funnel because I've done it. I can teach you how to sell a 6-figure course because I did it during COVID. So we must be open to learning and being in the moment and embracing it publicly too, unfortunately. Publicly too.
Tell us more.
Because you know, we live in such an age of perfectionism that we all must look amazing, and we must all be articulate, and we must all look fabulous, and we've all given ourselves these titles, that it's scary to now put on your phone and not have lights, camera, action, and a ring light and record a video and share your story or share your journey, or say, guys, I'm looking to start a community, or hey guys, this is the knowledge I want to share. If anyone's interested, please subscribe. Because the people that we aspire to be like and we look up to have got all of these fancy things. But the truth of the matter is that community is actually built in those moments of authenticity. It's actually built in those moments of saying, hey, I don't have a ring light, but I'm here. Anybody else out there? And then your people start to come to you. That's how I built Hetty the entrepreneur. And the reason I'm proud of the personal brand that I have built is because my ultimate objective is for a person that is not famous, that is not a celebrity, that is not part of a popular clique, that doesn't have a famous husband or anything like that, that just has interesting information that they want to share with whatever phone they have in their pocket, can do it, because I did it.
And I think that's why TikTok is like blooming, and that's where I would look at TikTok videos and say, this person didn't do anything. They're just sitting on their couch saying what they want to say, but look at how...
I'm telling you, I love TikTok, and I love South African TikTok, and I love African TikTok, because it shows you our creativity as a people. Somebody can put on their phone lying on the pillow and entertain you.
Simple. And then you move to your Instagram where everything looks so curated, and you are looking at yourself and like, but I don't have this backdrop that this person has.
Guys, come on.
I can tell you, I struggle with that mentality a lot.
And that is why also... so interestingly enough, I've got content on TikTok that I don't have on Instagram. If you go to my TikTok, there are videos of me wearing my duk and having a conversation. TikTok is such a special space. And, you know, for example, if I say to you, Yamazu JZ, Ubabam, who are you thinking of?
I wouldn't know.
The comedian on TikTok, Umamagalo.
Look, I probably know, but I don't know the name.
You probably know her.
Yeah.
And it is so interesting because people can just start with anything and blow up. That, in essence, is it.
And that's what authenticity then would
That
be.
what authenticity is about.
But I want you then to take us back to the beginning.
Yes.
Because from how I got to know you, from the socials, somehow it's like you are an overnight success. Hetty the entrepreneur.
Okay.
And everybody's going crazy about Hetty. Hetty will teach you how to monetize, how to make money out of this and that. But where did it start? Where did you start? Let's say maybe you had a job before, were you in corporate before? And then from there, did you then switch to entrepreneurship? What was your first business? Or you went straight ahead from when you were young into entrepreneurship?
Okay. So I was in corporate. I was at a merchant bank. I was fully in corporate. I got married in 2010. And my husband and I started a business together, a retail business together called P&H Boutique. And P&H Boutique was an African print retail brand. We started just operating from home and retailing the clothes online. Because we knew that the online space is one of those spaces where you can reach as many people as possible. We opened a Facebook page and we started advertising our clothing on there. And then we did a Facebook for Business course. The course was about 20,000 Rand, so it was quite expensive. And to be honest, it wasn't even money that we truly had. So we borrowed it from the credit card. And it just taught us about the principles of how to grow a business on Facebook. It was an American-based course, so some of the content wasn't relevant to the African context. But the information that was on there was absolute pure gold. And we were able to move from 10,000 followers to 100,000 followers within 6 months. And currently the page has got about 500,000 followers. So that page alone was able to help me retire from corporate, from the sales that we made on that page. And because we were operating from home, it got hectic. People were wanting to come to our home, wanting to feel the garments, and then we realized we need to open a retail store. So we opened a retail store, we opened a factory. And I say a factory, but the factory started with one person. At the time that we were wrapping up the business, it was a fully fledged factory with machines and all of these things. And it just kept growing until we had 7 retail stores nationwide across South Africa. It had replaced my corporate income. I left corporate. I didn't need to downsize. I didn't need to do anything. We were making incredible sales. We changed the lives of our staff and our employees. And my husband was able to leave corporate as well. And we both then realized our dream of being full-time entrepreneurs. And our dream, at the time we didn't know the challenges we would have in having children, but our dream was to be full-time parents. And we're like, we don't have examples of that, but what if it's possible, So that was our background. We utilized social media to grow a retail business. And for me, that is why I am so passionate about saying to entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter to me what you do. It could be clothes, it could be makeup, it could be hair, it could be fixing cell phones. You can utilize the online space to boost your business. Because we didn't invent something new, Kefilwe. We did not invent African print clothing. We all know African print clothing. You probably know somebody, you may know someone in your family who's got a sewing machine that can sew nice garments. So we didn't invent something new. But what we did differently was leveraging social media to create literally mass hysteria over our products.
I like what you're saying, because in the entrepreneurship landscape now, everybody is fighting towards innovating, finding the next big thing, finding the new thing that somebody else has not done. I'm guilty of that myself. And here you are saying, there's nothing new.
No. In fact, I advocate to say innovation is not creating something new. It is doing what already exists and works better.
Sure.
Better. Uber didn't invent the taxi industry. They did it better. Airbnb didn't invent overnight lodging. They've just done it better. So innovation is taking what already exists and just doing it better to suit the current climate. That's all.
And also the doubt of it's not new, it's not unique, therefore people are not going to buy it, right? And this leads to my next question, where in building then the African Prince Boutique, getting it to grow to the point where you ended up having 7 factories, what were some of the experiences that you and your husband, of course, had in building and scaling up this business? Because could you think of specific moments that happened that said, yes, you did the retail online utilizing Facebook, you invested the money in the course, which I think did play a huge role. But what were some of the experiences that happened in between? Because I can say it was not overnight.
No,
right?
It absolutely wasn't overnight. And that's the thing, because by the time we were on television, media, top billing, and all of these platforms and getting all of these awards, people thought we were an overnight success in that retail business. We weren't. Every single month before we had opened a retail store, we used to do pop-up shops. We've literally done the length and breadth of South Africa doing pop-up shops. First, it was literally my husband and I retailing the clothes. We'll go to Polokwane, we'll set up somewhere, and we'll tell people, using the power of Facebook, this is where we're going to be, and they would clear our stock. They would clear our stock. We would go with boxes of clothes and come back with empty boxes. They would, literally, the speed point sometimes would take an hour and a half to cash up.
Yeah.
That's how much money we were making using Facebook. So one of the things that we did was we were on the ground. People don't want to be on the ground anymore. People don't want to be seen as selling. People don't want to be seen as hustling.
I'm starting
or breaking out a sweat. Because we are in this phase where people are living luxurious lifestyles without us knowing the source of their income. You understand? But for us, we were out there and we were able to build a life with that. Then we actually had to build a pop-up team. Then there was a time when we were having multiple pop-ups within the country at the same time. So we then had to divide ourselves. We had to buy pop-up vehicles. And this is retailing African print clothing. And all these years later, I've still got people within that space coming to ask me, Hetty, how did you successfully do a pop-up? Then once the pop-ups were so successful that people were begging us to open up shops in those areas, that's how we were able to open up our retail stores.
I like what you're speaking about when you're saying people don't want to be on the ground.
No.
And yes, we are living in a digital era, in an online era where you could literally get customers and clients by being online, and we're going to speak about that because that's essentially also the essence of the work that you do, monetizing what you do. But there was a time when social media said social media has made us very lazy business owners, right? You think if I can just pop up my phone and tell people, hey, I've got this cup I'm selling, and then everybody's going to flock to your DMs and try to order. Do you think then, or how do we then balance I still need to be on the ground doing the legwork for my business to be known, to be seen, and I don't have to work that extra hard being on the ground because I can balance it out with being online. And I would make an example. There's this other entrepreneur who literally has a new product, and she went to the gym and she asked people at the gym, can you test out my product? Right? And I think I understand that would be building from the ground, like being on the ground as well.
Yeah.
So how do we then balance the two for business success? Or is it possible to just have it strictly online?
Look, it depends on the business. It depends on what you are offering. What I will say is the traditional marketing and digital marketing can coexist happily. All right. They're siblings. They're not arch enemies.
Yeah.
And sometimes we act as if you're either in digital marketing or traditional marketing. You can marry the two. Whatever you're doing on the ground, you can document it and put it online. Whatever you're doing online, you can also execute on the ground as well. So you absolutely can marry the two. You need to be able to assess the nature of your particular business and what your particular objectives are so that you are then able to marry the two. But the important thing that I think we need to establish is the fact that there is going to be a season where you need to do the work. There is going to be a season where you need to do the work. And that is the part where sometimes people get stuck. People often ask me, Hetty, why do you offer so much free information? And I'm like, but the reality is most people aren't going to do it.
Actually,
the reality is one of my mentors, Ian Furr, he is the founder of the Sorbet Group. And he wrote a book where he literally shared the blueprint of how he started and built the Sorbet Group to be this enormous empire that it is today. And I remember saying, but Ian, aren't you afraid? You've literally put the blueprint into this book. A person can take it and they can replicate it. It's like, Hetty, first of all, they're not going to. That's just first of all. And secondly, they cannot replicate the environment and circumstances under which I was operating because everybody has got their own unique journey. The truth of the matter is that anything worth building will come with some level of sacrifice from yourself. And that is something that we need to be aware of. And if you're brave enough to switch on the phone and actually document that journey. You're going to build a community of people that are going to evangelize for you because they were with you from day one.
And I want to ask two questions from what you said, right? That there are certain sacrifices that you're going to have to make as an entrepreneur for your business. I could say with you and your husband, that 20,000 rands that you took out to take up this cause, right, would be one of maybe those sacrifices. We have entrepreneurs today, small business owners, when there are things that they are told to do for their businesses, they'll say, I don't have the money for it, right? I can't do it because maybe somebody will be listening to say, okay, you were able to buy those vehicles, you were able to do the pop-up stores because you had money to start off with. So what do you then have to say to somebody who's got that kind of a mentality, right? And then the second one that I want to ask then is, what would be the number one thing that you would have loved to do differently than when you were building? And also, if people want to document what they are building, right, up to how far do you document it?
So first and foremost, if you say you don't have the money or the resources to put yourself out there, my question to you is, how's that working out for you? How's it working out for you? It is not to be flippant, but let me give you a very interesting example. The founder of Nike, Phil Knight, was asked, if you were down to your last $100, what would you do? And he said, I would spend it on marketing. Because if we do not know that you exist, you are as good as not existing. There are strategies for free that you can use to build visibility. This is the point that we're making. There are strategies for free that you can use to build visibility. And this is what, when I was building Hetty the entrepreneur, nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew the knowledge and expertise that I have in building businesses. So I decided I'm going to teach on Instagram Live every single Wednesday at 6 p.m., no matter where I am, no matter what is happening, no matter rain or shine, no matter how many followers I have, no matter how many people care or don't care. I am going to go online and I'm going to teach my knowledge. It didn't cost me money. It costed me discipline. It costed me my own perceived embarrassment.
Sure.
It costed me committing to myself and showing up. It costed me not giving up on myself. The cost is not always financial.
Okay.
In fact, where the cost is financial, that's the easiest because there's a monetary value. There are other costs that are completely unseen that we don't talk about. I remember in building our retail business, my husband and I, yes, we were in good jobs in banking. We lived on 40% of our income. 40% of our income. 60% of our income went straight back into the business. So when people were upgrading their cars, we remained with our entry-level cars that we had. When people were buying homes, when people were going on holiday, we were building our business because we were planting seeds into a future that only the two of us could see. So the cost is not only financial, but at some point we need to make the decision that my current situation is uncomfortable enough for me to do today what other people are not willing to do so that I can live tomorrow a life that other people cannot live. And now my husband and I often joke and say we're semi-retired because we've been able to build a life for ourselves that our peers are now like, wait a minute, how did this happen? It happened when you were upgrading your car. Am I making sense?
You are.
That is the cost. That is the sacrifice. You know, the cost of it was when I first went on IG Live and I said, hi guys, my name is Hetty the entrepreneur. This is my first IG Live. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here to share my knowledge. I literally wish that the ground would swallow me up whole. I felt so embarrassed. but I thought I am going to do this and I'm going to do it until it feels comfortable.
Love that. And then now, from the store that you had built with your husband, and then that first Instagram live that you did when now Hetty, the entrepreneur, came about, how did that transition happen, right? And can you tell us more about then what does Hetty, the entrepreneur, then do?
So the transition happened in, there are seasons in life, right? And it's interesting because when we are in summer, we can't imagine winter.
Yeah, true.
We just can't imagine winter because the sun is shining. It's hard to imagine that it's going to be cold
jacket,
and I'm going to need a jacket. We were in the summer of our business. We were expanding. We had 7 retail stores. We were expanding, looking to open up the 8th and the 9th. We were employing staff. We had empowered our staff. They were growing themselves as individuals personally. It was just absolutely phenomenal. We were being featured everywhere, getting awards everywhere. And then in March of 2020, Cyril Ramaphosa went on to television and radio and told all of us that we are going into 21 days lockdown. I remember looking at my husband, and after the announcement, for some unknown reason that I can't even begin to articulate, I started weeping. Because within myself, I understood that something important is shifting. And I didn't understand or know the magnitude of that shift. We went into 21 days lockdown. Of course, we know that it extended and extended. Luckily, because we had been financially savvy, we were able to keep our staff for several months. But there came a point where we had to start closing retail stores. We had to really sit back and evaluate, what are we doing? And I remember at the beginning of lockdown, before things had gone down a very scary path, I remember having what I can only describe as a God moment. To say, Lord, what if this is an opportunity? What if this is an opportunity to do things again? In as much as I loved the retail business, it was really quite taxing. Retail, you need to be in store. And often at times you need to be in store on busy weekends, which meant that it took me away from very important and significant occasions of loved ones that I would have loved to be there to support, etc. So I felt that it took something away from me personally. And I said, Lord, what if I could do it over again? And so I answered a question in that quiet time. And the question was, if time and money were not a factor, what would I be doing with my life? And in answering that question, I came up with 3 things. Number 1, I no longer want a retail business because it's keeping me physically bound. I would like to have an online business. Number 2, I want to be able to mentor and impact people. I no longer just want to make money for money's sake. I actually want to impact lives. And the third one was, I want to be able to earn in multiple currencies. Because if I'm a child of the world, then I should have dominion over all currencies. So those are just the 3 things that I wrote down. And at the time, it was just absolutely crazy because it's like, who writes that? And thinks it's going to come to pass.
Happen, yeah.
Like, really, who daydreams like that? But I wrote that down, etc. And there's a particular verse that really resonates with me, which is, your gifts will make room for you. That's in Proverbs 18. So I realized that my gift is being able to help people grow their businesses. Kefilwe, I will give somebody business advice and they'll come back, Hetty, I made a sale. Oh my gosh, I got the sponsor from exactly what you told me to do. It has been happening for years. And I just felt that my gifts will make room for me. All I need to do is for me to have the bravery to trust the person that bestowed and gave me these gifts at birth to disseminate it to the world. And everything else will fall into place. And so I had to then operate on faith. I went onto social media. My handle at the time was Hetty's World. Changed it to Hetty the Entrepreneur. I think I had about 200 followers. Changed my bio, deleted all the nonsense that was on my page, and started afresh with Hetty the Entrepreneur. And my mission was very, very simple. I know how to make business people money. I know how to make people money. People send me their proposals. I clear it up. I tell them how to pitch. They come back and they've got the pitch. I know how to make people money. And I don't know how to say it without it triggering people or irritating their spirit. That is the fact. So why don't I teach that knowledge to other people? Other people are good with sales or how to make your logo look pretty and all of those things, which are all valid parts of the
business.
ecosystem. But mine is the monetization aspect. And so that is how the brand of Hetty the Entrepreneur was built. It was a faith exercise that came through COVID, through a God moment.
And then what is monetizing? You speak a lot about monetization.
Yes.
Right? What exactly is it? Because maybe somebody might be thinking, Hetty's just teaching us how to make sales. But what is it?
Monetization is the ability to make whatever you are doing profitable. And monetization is interesting because I fundamentally believe that each of us have been assigned gifts at birth. That if we package it correctly, we can monetize it.
And should it be everything? Because in this day and age, I know how to bake. All of a sudden, I think, let me actually make money out of baking. Oh, I know how to swim. Actually, let me teach other people how to swim. Oh, I'm good at this. Would you then think that is what monetization is all about?
So monetization is not void of strategy.
Okay.
Monetization must go hand in hand with strategy. Many people are multi-skilled, multi-talented, multi-passionate. So when a person wants to embark on a monetization journey, one of the first things I do is to do a specialization and a niche exercise. What are we going to specialize on? Because you cannot be doing Herbalife selling hair and then also be a
Avon
leadership
tomorrow.
coach.
Okay.
Come on.
Okay.
You might love all of those things, but we don't have to monetize all of those things, and certainly not at the exact same time.
Okay.
So there is a season and a strategy for everything. So monetization is part of the business process. It's not an airy-fairy concept. It is a part of the business process, and it must be applied with strategy.
So then how would I then know what is it that I want to monetize out of all the gifts that I have? Let's say, I'm an entrepreneur. I've got my business academy. I do business coaching. I do mentorship for entrepreneurs. I love speaking. I've got this podcast now. How do I then decide how to monetize this and to actually then put it out in the public so that it's neatly packaged and people are not confused about what is it that this person actually does?
The first thing that we need to answer is, what do you want? What do you want? You'll be shocked how many people don't know what they want. So a person will be like, I just want to grow. I just want to make money. So we need to sit down and establish. Some people will say, I actually want to be a coach. Great. Tick number one. What kind of coach? One-on-one coach, group coach, retreat coach, a coach that sells books and courses, because those are all different types of coaches, and all of those have got different types of strategy. So when you say you want to do and be in a certain area, what does it look like for you? And it's important for us to come back to the self in terms of, remember the exercise I did. If time and money were not a factor, what would you be doing with your life? We need to be able to tailor it around what it is that you want for yourself. Some people are mothers. Some people have got other responsibilities. Some people are doing it as a side hustle and they've got their career. So everybody's circumstance is different. The strategy will therefore be different. Once we understand what it is that you want, we then need to know who is it that you are serving. Who is it that you are serving? And is that demographic monetizable?
Oh, I see.
Some of you want to sell to people who don't have the money to afford. We can't monetize them.
I think I'm guilty of that.
They don't have the money to afford. We are confusing charity and philanthropy with business. Oh, I'm passionate because I come from Nkowankowa and therefore I want to support the people there. That can be the CSI leg of your business. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you must make money to be able to give back.
Do you think then, as African entrepreneurs, we do this in reverse?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because we want
And
to
sometimes we want to make a charity a business, a philanthropy project a business. You understand what I'm saying? A business by its very nature has the objective to be profitable. So yes, passion and profit can marry each other where there is strategy. The problem is that we want to marry the two without strategy. The ring that binds it together is strategy. So we need to understand who is it that you are targeting, and is that a monetizable demographic? Then once we've established if it is a monetizable demographic, the third thing we need to establish is there a willingness from that demographic to buy? There are some things, it doesn't even matter how cheap it is. We don't want it.
Sure.
You can keep it.
And it only makes sense in your head. Why do these people not want this?
Why don't they want this? That is when you have identified a gap in the market, but have not identified if there is a market in the gap.
Ooh.
Is there actual money in that gap that you have identified?
Yeah.
So that is part of the strategy part. Can you see that we are talking strategy now? We haven't developed a product. We haven't opened an Instagram page and made an announcement. We haven't gone and done a photo shoot and said we are a personal brand. We are strategizing to understand what are we doing here.
And this is where then, when I go then do this photo shoot and I do an announcement on Instagram and then it goes quiet, it's because I skipped those 3 steps.
We skipped those steps. We're just like, oh, wow, doesn't Kefilwe look nice? Doesn't she look
Who's
gorgeous?
your photographer?
Who's your oh, yes. In the comment section.
Yeah.
We don't know. We didn't realize, Kanti Shem, you're trying to convey a message. You're trying to tell us that this is a new me and I've rebranded and my messaging has changed. It hasn't landed because you haven't walked a journey with us.
Sure. And for someone like me, let's just say I've got now my business now and I've got all these different products that I want to put out in the market. And somehow it's just not translating. Like I'm stuck on this revenue number that I'm making every month. I'm not seeing any growth. It's stagnant. But I've got these products. What would be the missing part that I'm not doing? Let's say that I did speak, there's a willing market that's willing, they've got the money, I do understand, but I'm now showing up online, but somehow it's not translating into the money that I had thought.
So first and foremost, when we're looking at established businesses, one of the things that we do as an agency is a business diagnostics.
Okay.
That's an X-ray of your business. When you go to the doctor and you're not feeling well and we're not too sure what's wrong, we do an X-ray so that we can see what is working, what is healthy and where is the gap, where is the potential problem, so that we can then zoom in onto it. That's what we do with established businesses. Because sometimes what you did in the beginning that worked no longer works. Why? The environment might be different. Your audience might have changed. There might be something that has changed within the environment. We might need to tweak your messaging. We might be bored. Like, really, how likable are you? Maybe it was entertaining 2 years ago, but now we're used to it because there are now 1,000 other Kefilwes. Maybe we need to change it up a little bit.
Okay.
Sometimes it could be as simple as that, or it could be more complex. But that is what a business diagnostics does, is that it gives us an X-ray to really scan your business and to see where the loopholes are. Sometimes we've got several balls in the air. You've got many, many products. It's like going to a restaurant. Have you ever been to a restaurant and you go through the menu? They've got seafood. They've got meat. They've got pasta. They've got burgers. They've got... And I'm just... God, what do you specialize in? Tell me what you're good at. Because now there's even sushi. I don't know what you're good at. And they'll be like, to be honest, our steaks are the best thing. Great.
Like,
I'm going to order
just call yourself steak whatever.
Exactly. Because now you're trying to be everything to everyone, and now you've confused us. That is what often happens to people that are seasoned. Because over the years, they launched courses, then they launched masterclasses, then they launched a membership, then they launched a support group, then they launched a coffee club, then there was a book this, and then there was an event. And now you're like, oh my gosh, there are so many things, and I've got many things in the air, and I don't know how do I consolidate all of this without losing my revenue.
I think I'm guilty of that. I think I'm such a multi-passionate, multifaceted individual that I want to do everything. And I think I'm dropping other balls.
Yeah.
Then that other ball will start to pick up.
Yeah.
And then I want to go to that other one. And then that one drops and I'm like...
Yeah. So a really nice exercise that I do with clients is that we draw a shelf, right? And because the ideas that we have, I'm not saying release them to die. I'm saying that maybe right now we can put it on the shelf. So it may not be for execution tomorrow, but maybe let's see if it's on eye level, maybe within the next 6 months. If it's a bit longer term, then we'll put it on a bit of a higher shelf. So we haven't left it, but we're saying not right now. So it gives you the peace of mind to say it is in the horizon. We haven't abandoned it, but it is not something that we can juggle at the moment. Let's have a strategy for what we are doing. So right now, I already know what I'm doing next year. There's nobody that's going to come and distract me. I know what I'm doing next year. My team knows what they're posting. We know what we are doing next year. And we know what is on our short, medium, and long-term horizon.
I love that. And you just mentioned your team, but we'll come into that as well. With people monetizing, thinking that this is not an actual business, it's a nice to have, right? Because I used to think, maybe just selling a digital product, it's a nice to have, it's not really a business, right? And then obviously when you don't see something as a fully fledged business, even how you run it then becomes half-baked. Does that make sense? So how do we then see monetizing what we have as an actual business?
First and foremost, I love digital products. Digital products have made me and my clients a lot of money.
But for someone who's saying everybody's selling digital products.
So they're not you. They're not you. I sold my course in COVID, the Ultimate Monetization course. It's not the first monetization course on earth. It's not the first digital course on earth. I made 6 figures in COVID. Complaining about the same load shedding and potholes that everybody else is complaining about. In South Africa, I made 6 figures. Fully online course. Guys, there is money in digital products. I have a client, I won't name their name, that's bought a house through courses. So when I tell you there is money in digital products, I don't have a problem. You don't have to believe us. That's okay with me. I am telling you that, in fact, we haven't even scratched the surface, to be quite honest with you. There are markets that are far advanced and sophisticated. We have not even scratched the surface. We have not even scratched the surface. There is a lot to do from a monetization perspective in the online space, but also in the traditional space as well. Monetization is not only restricted to the online space. I find it easy in the online space because there's less barrier of entry, but it can extend. You use your online presence to also sell physical products such as books, etc.
Because I think that's a very important point that you're making, because some of my the learners that come into the academy, that I would coach and mentor, are not necessarily in businesses that it would be easy for them to spot what can we monetize. Like, for example, a business that's in the construction space, and somebody would come to me and say, Kefilwe, but I'm in construction. I work with tenders. I don't need to be online. I don't need to be. So what would monetization then look like for them?
Look, it's very, very interesting. And this is why the specialization and the niche aspect is really, really important, because that is what it does. Its purpose is to help us unpack where you can monetize.
Yeah.
Is it from what you're already doing?
Yeah.
That person could do a membership to help other people to be able to land contracts and to become ready for those elements. Maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe they're comfortable with their main business, but now they want to monetize their passion.
Okay.
Because as human beings, we are multifaceted. So you can monetize your knowledge, your talent, your skill, your passion, your experience, and your expertise. So if you've been married for 26 years and you're passionate about marriages, you can monetize that.
But do you think then, should we all be monetizing and being knowledge experts and being, I can teach you this, and developing a course? Because then what happens if every entrepreneur that starts a business then ends up being a coach, a mentor, creating digital products, doing a course, and then all of us then, I'll make an example. It's like, maybe I'm starting, I've got my academy, and then I end up selling merchandise. I'll print a t-shirt with my logo and then trying to sell that as well. Then now every other business, yes, this was my actual business, but now I'm starting to print t-shirts, or this was now what do you think about?
So first and foremost, not everybody is an entrepreneur.
Okay.
And not everybody has to be in business.
Okay.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with being in a career. I don't think that these two things should be in opposition to each other. In fact, there is a beautiful synergy, because people in corporate hire us as entrepreneurs. We need them in corporate. We need them advocating for entrepreneurs. We need them opening doors for entrepreneurs. We need them bringing entrepreneurs into their supplier chain. That is a very important element. So it is not the path for everybody. Also, monetization is not just courses. So there are different ways that we are able to monetize. Sometimes when we do a business diagnostics, it is not to say now you must go and be a coach and a consultant. It is to say you've reached a ceiling in your income generating revenue. Where is the block? Is it in your sales funnel? Is it in your messaging? Is it in your follow-up sequence? Is it in your client acquisition strategy? Is it in your inability to cross-sell and upsell? Where are we hitting a block?
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that we all have to be in that particular aspect. If I've had medical doctors that we help to monetize, they're not actually looking to build a personal brand, but they are looking to get more feet into their practice.
So it's not like I've hit a ceiling, now I must bring in a new product, or now I must bring in a new, makes sense.
It is to say, in what you are doing, where are you leaving money on the table? Where are you hitting a ceiling? So I call my community of entrepreneurs monetizers. A monetizer is an individual who refuses to leave money on the table. That is it. How else can I make sure that this thing pays me? Maybe it's yourself. I love talking to people. I love educating myself through amazing conversations. I want to have a podcast where I can have these conversations and put it out into the world, but I want it to pay me. Then we begin to look at what are the revenue streams that this can bring. Doesn't mean you have to do a course. You don't have to launch a digital product through this if you don't want to. You can, but you don't have to. You've got the freedom of choice.
Where do you think I'm leaving money on the table?
Oh my God.
I'm putting you on the spot.
You are, you're so naughty. Well, look, I haven't done a diagnostics.
Yeah. Yes.
So I don't know. One of the things that I will say that I have found with people, and I don't know if this applies to you or not.
playing around, yeah.
But you will tell me. One of the things that I have seen is that sometimes we don't do things long enough to blow. Let me tell you one thing about me. I don't even know if I'm the most gifted. I don't know if I'm the most liked. I don't know if I'm the most beautiful. I don't know if I'm the one who's got the most stopping to scroll factor, but I will be the most consistent.
Sure.
And that is why, bar none, I know that I'm making more money than your faves. It is because I am consistent. I keep the focus, and the strategy. I cannot tell you how many people I've given a blueprint. They've paid me. I've given them the blueprint.
Yeah.
This is what they must do. We check in 2 to 3 months. How is it going? They ran out of steam. No, I did the webinar, but only 2 people showed up. And you teach like there's 200. That's what you do when only 2 people showed up. You want to be trusted with plenty, but you cannot be trusted with the little. I promise you it is the consistency. And so because we run out of steam in that journey, we then focus on, the next amazing thing. You know what? I'm so excited. I'm going to open up a membership. Then people come into your membership, and then you're teaching, and then you're like, phew, membership is a lot. You know what? Then you're launching your course.
You are on to the next.
You are on to the next.
I shouldn't have asked this question.
You're on to the next.
You want to make me cry. It feels very spiritual.
No, absolutely. And, let me give you a very simple example because people don't realize how big they can build things and how much they can make it a legacy. So, for example, I've got a membership. And not only have I got a membership, I even brought in another coach to coach within that membership. That membership pays salaries. You understand what I'm saying? The online space is a business. There's a membership that I registered for from a lady, and it had been running since 1999 or something. huge membership. The head coach, unfortunately, got cancer and passed away. Her membership is still running.
Sure.
Her membership is still running.
My brain blew when you said from 90 whatever, and
Yes.
it's still, and I'm thinking,
Yes.
Kefilwe, you are just 2 years into this.
Yes, and we are tired. And what is absolutely incredible is when we realize, especially for those who are looking to build a personal brand, is that the objective is to build a community that is bigger than you. That is actually bigger than you. That is what we call legacy building. Because I'm still in a membership of a person that's passed away, and she had fellow coaches under her, and the structures have continued, and her annual event is still going on. And we're still doing challenges and posting and have our accountability partners in the membership.
And leading to that, because I wanted to ask about team then, how do we then get to a point of bringing in a team to help us build what we need to build? Because I'll tell you, and for many other entrepreneurs that I work with will say, the challenge is capacity, right? I want to do this and that, but as a one-man team, I'm struggling. What have you learned from building a team, working with people, and how do you bring in people that fit in really well with what you are trying to build, so that my membership, like of this lady, can still continue long after I am gone? Because I would think it takes a team for that to continue. How do we build a team, and how do we make sure it's the right team that's fitting?
You know, I've seen, first and foremost, you need to build a team for your future self, not your current self.
Sure.
Your future self. So you need to think about, what is it that I'm trying to build, and what are we trying to create here? And who are the type of individuals that can help me to make this happen? Right? And you also need to leverage what is available to you right now. If you can only afford somebody to work 2 times a week, because you may not be able to afford a full-time resource, get the best person that can work for you 2 times a week. So that you are fully leveraging on those particular 2 days. Get people you can sit and actually brainstorm with. Another thing also is that because we are often consumed with black guilt, because we are the first generation of something, or we are the first to, we're hiring people who look and sound like us and so forth. So sometimes there is a guilt that it's you behind the mic. And by whatever fluke, you are the one who got the chance. We then feel guilty to be assertive and authoritative when we need to be. So that is something that's very important for us to be able, on a psychological level, to actually work through. Then you need to begin to build your business as if you are building a corporate.
Okay. So for someone who has not worked in corporate and doesn't know how,
figure it out and Google it. So I, for example, 2 of my staff members that work for me in a personal capacity, my chief of staff and my executive assistant, they're not in South Africa. One of them is in London. Why? Because she gives me more hours in the day. So depending on which side of daylight savings time we're on, when I knock off, she still has 2 extra hours. I have bought time. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we need to be able to think bigger. How do I get the maximum out of what it is that I am doing? How do I professionalize what it is that I am doing so that I can be able to utilize my brain power on the important things? Because as business owners, we love to be busy with things that we should not be concerning ourselves with. So I really highly recommend that. just sitting and ensuring that even if it is one staff member, rather get a person that has got a talent base that you can then be able to stretch as far as possible, that you can brainstorm with, that can help you administratively, etc.
And you made a video the other day on Instagram saying the reason why we are struggling with our team is because we've made them our friends.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line between I'm being friendly, I'm being professional, I'm being nice, I can make my staff laugh, we can go out for drinks, we can say jokes, we can, and saying, now it's time to work. Can the two work collectively, or it's strictly, hello, I'm coming to work, I'm done with my job, bye, I'm going home? What's your leadership style in that term?
So first of all, our leadership styles are very, very personal. And you can only develop a leadership style that works for you when you learn to master yourself. When you learn to master yourself. Self-mastery is so, so important. So you need to be able to actually determine, what am I trying to build here? And what is the culture that I'm trying to build here? And what do I not want here? I don't want gossip, for example. Like I literally have a no gossip policy in my life. If someone starts gossiping, I literally walk away. I don't have friends that I gossip with. It's a life principle that I have.
Okay.
So determine, what do you want and what do you not want, so that you can then inculcate that culture. Because your business is an extension of yourself. And if you do not take ownership over the energy of your business, then other people are going to do it for you, and you may not like the outcome. And that's what often happens. We sit in the passenger seat of our business and wonder, well, why did we turn left? It's because you didn't take control of the steering wheel. So first of all, we need to understand the position that we occupy in our business, and to say, I am terribly sorry. But the truth of the matter is that in as much as, yes, you can be friendly, yes, you can have a wonderful relationship with your staff members, at the end of the day, you are the only one that bears the responsibility of keeping the doors of your business open. And so therefore, there must be a level of respect for what we are doing here.
Love that. Do you think that entrepreneurs, small business owners in South Africa are overtrained and over-mentored?
I don't think that they are overtrained. I don't think that they are overtrained. And those that say that they are over-mentored are also speaking from a place of privilege.
Okay.
They really are speaking from a place of privilege. And I'm happy for those who are over-mentored. And maybe they are saying, listen, I need somebody to sponsor me. That's also fine. I've never waited for a sponsor. If you sponsor me, great. Otherwise, I'll be my own sponsor. That's just the type of posture that I've taken in my journey. But I think it is coming from a place of privilege, because I am one of those people that are in the online space, but I'm also in the real world and I'm on the ground. I actually am walking the talk. I literally am on the ground training entrepreneurs on the ground. And there are people every single day that are looking for mentors, every single day that are looking for access to information.
And if I'm an entrepreneur and I've been from one program to the next, I've been in this incubator, I've been in this acceleration program, I'm part of your mentorship club and all of that, when do I get to a point where I say, you know what, I've learned, now I need to execute and stop taking on all of these programs? Or do you think, or maybe it goes back to what you were saying, that you know that these entrepreneurs are not going to do what we said they're going to do, and that is why maybe they end up being in all of these programs? Is it an execution problem?
It's a shiny object syndrome problem. We're chasing the next shiny object. Some people in fact, are professional event attenders. Every event you go to, that person is there. They are writing the longest notes. When are you executing? When are you executing? So for me, shiny object syndrome is a very, very dangerous thing because it means that you are in everybody's membership. You've signed up for everybody's course. You are attending everything. You are everybody's super fan.
Sure.
You are the OG of everybody's community, but you have not yet executed. You need to then sit down with yourself and say, what is preventing me from executing? Where is my analysis paralysis coming from? What is the issue here? And then work through that. If you are doing different programs strategically, because it will open doors for you, it will allow you to be on a certain organization's database or open up funding, by all means, go for it. That's a different, that's strategic. But shiny object syndrome is a thing where we've got FOMO because of all the amazing reels we are seeing on social media, but we are not committing to anything.
Sure. That's very powerful. And what then is your take on mentorship? How does it directly translate to growth, right? And then adding on top of that then, from where you're saying if it's a strategic move to say it will open up doors for me, you mentioned earlier on when you're talking to me that it's so easy to get sponsorship. It's so easy to get opportunities. How does somebody then start doing that? Because maybe I've been attending all these events. I've been trying to get on databases. I've been mentored. I've been trying, but I'm still like, Hetty, I'm not getting these opportunities.
Okay. First and foremost, so mentorship is important and it is critical. It's something I really wouldn't want to downplay. I myself have been mentored and I've had some of the world's best mentors. I've been mentored by Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I have been mentored by Ian Furr, the founder of the Sorbet Group. I've been mentored by Vusi Maguire, who is an entrepreneur and venture capitalist, and the list can go on. So that is why, for me, I in turn mentor others because I must be able to pay it forward. So mentorship is absolutely important. Please, let's not also exclude self-mentorship.
Okay.
How are you mentoring yourself? Through the books you read, through your timeline on social media, through who you're following, the podcasts that you listen to, your friendship group. Who are you allowing to pour and speak words into your life and over you? Who is part of your advisory board? You understand what I'm saying? That is very, very important. When it comes to things like, I say sponsorship is very, very easy because you know what's interesting? There was a coach that brought me on board to her masterclass to teach her audience how to get sponsors for their events, for their programs, for whatever they may be looking to do. Because she's like, Hetty, I don't know how you do it, but I need you to teach it. Great. I taught on her platform. We advertised it on social media. The tickets weren't even, I think they were like $5.50 if I'm not mistaken. People bought tickets. It was a packed room. Then afterwards, people are still asking me, how do you get sponsorship? And I said, please contact that particular coach. I taught for 3 hours straight on how to get sponsors, what to do, what to say, the different types of sponsorships, how to negotiate, etc. She was selling the replay for $5.50. They said, no, I'm not going to pay for it.
Sure. Okay. I see the mentality here now.
Do you understand what I'm saying? You want to get sponsorship. You want to learn how to get money from corporate organizations, but you are not willing to invest into yourself.
So it's like, it goes back to this thing of people want free things. Like you want free things that can make you money.
That can make you money. That can make you money. It's the strangest thing. It's the strangest. I, to this day, when I plan my year ahead, I set a budget for my own self-education. For my own self-education. I still pay for courses and coaches and mentorship. I pay my mentors. I'm not a CSI project.
Yeah, sure.
You understand what I'm saying? So for me, I just ask, honestly speaking, guys, I'm not fighting. How is it working out for you?
Right?
Genuinely speaking, how is it working out for you? You know, and for those who you may not have the financial muscle to invest in some of these things, I get it. I 100% do. Attend the 3 things for as long as you can. Execute on those things for as long as you can. And when you have a little, invest that little. Invest that little.
Love that. And if this was the last thing that you had to say to entrepreneurs, small business owners, somebody who's feeling stuck in their business, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know where I'm going, I want to start a business, I'm not sure if I should start a business, you know, that whole mix of the entrepreneurship landscape, what would you say to them? What would you want? Or in simple, if it was to be even written on a billboard, what would it be?
Gosh, guys, I don't know if I can succinct it honestly into just a sentence. But I think the most important thing that I have come to realize is that ultimately you need to work on yourself. Ultimately, you need to work on yourself. Give yourself the proper time and energy to figure you out. What is it that you want? What is it that you want to do in the most simplified manner possible that you could explain it to a 4-year-old? And then we find ways to package that and to monetize that. The simpler it is, the easier it will be to monetize. The more complicated it is, it means you do not understand it yourself. And the rest of us are not going to buy what you're selling if you do not understand it yourself.
That's powerful. And you're a mom.
I'm a mom.
A new mom. How many months? 4, 5, 6?
8 months.
Already?
He's 8 months, yes.
And how has that been?
It has been by far the best journey of my life. By far the best journey of my life. It is the privilege of my life. I understand why it happened as it has. And becoming a mom at the ripe old age of 40 is the greatest joy of my life.
And would you say that what has changed about you as an entrepreneur and now being a mom? Because I hear a lot of women say, my child have slowed me down. Yes, I know you're still very fresh, early in, you're just 8 months in. But what has been the shift and the change in the Hetty who's now the mom versus the Hetty who was just an entrepreneur?
First of all, being a mom is my favorite job. Being a mom is my absolute favorite job. It has given me a sense of clarity and purpose that I just simply would not have gotten from anything else, quite frankly. And yes, it has slowed me down in the most beautiful way. It came at the right time. And that is why I was saying to you before we started recording that had I known now what I know, my prayers would have been different because our son was 14 years in the making.
Sure.
And we were praying for him during busy seasons of building businesses and being so hectic, etc. And God said, I'm going to give him to you at a time where you have the time to appreciate it.
Sure.
Where you can actually be present and enjoy this. How beautiful is his time.
Yes.
And so it's just absolutely wonderful. And it has also honored us to be able to have the original dream that my husband and I had when we got married at the age of 25, when we said we'd love to be full-time parents. We are literally as full-time as it gets while still being working parents.
That's amazing.
We are able to curate our lives.
I love that.
And it is absolutely phenomenal.
I love that. I think I wanted to end off with that because I wanted to hear a lot of women who are feeling very scared about becoming mothers, or they've just become mothers and they're just going crazy. Because I'll tell you, out there's a lot of negativity around motherhood and just how everybody's feeling frustrated, etc. around motherhood. For somebody who's my age, I'm panicking about having children. So if I can always ask somebody who's a mother, how is it being a mother? I will take that opportunity, right, and get all the different experiences. But I think the timing, like you were saying, has been amazing. Hetty, look, we could have all day. I will find questions to ask you. You know, I'm that kind of a person, but you have been amazing. I think for me, this has been more of a spiritual conversation for myself. You know, there's a lot that I myself am going to reflect on and do the work. For anybody maybe who's listening who wants to connect with you, where can they get you? I know you've got you've got quite a lot. But where can they get you, connect with you if they really want to get like in-house, in-depth?
All right. It's Hetty the Entrepreneur, Hetty, on all social media platforms. Find me on Instagram and let's chat.
Leading to the podcast, there's an amazing part where she spoke to me and I was almost teary. I got a little bit emotional because I felt like she's talking to the inner parts of me when I asked her the question, Hetty, where am I leaving money on the table? Because if you know her and you followed her on social media platforms, she's always telling us, you guys are leaving money on the table. So I asked her that question. And when she answered it, I felt some spiritual movement somewhere inside of me. So I want you to go and listen to what she said to me. Hetty, thank you for sharing your incredible journey from your spare bedroom to being a global sensation. If you want to learn more about her work, you can find her on all platforms as Hetty the Entrepreneur. If you have not subscribed to this podcast, you want to subscribe because I bet you this episode gave you a reason to click subscribe. Remember to leave a comment, like, and share with your friends, family, and other entrepreneurship circles because information is nothing if we keep it to ourselves. Let's grow together. And remember from me, Coach Kefilwe, I do not sleep until I make sure you're doing your business right.